Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy fall to you. It was the equinox. Is that right? Yes. Equinox. Autumnal equinox yesterday. So it's now fall. Feels like it today too. I think everybody stayed in bed hibernating this morning. If it's too hot, people stay home, and if it's too, just that initial cold, whoa, I'm going to stay home and sleep into it. Anyway, I am Reverend C.C. Coltrane, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Dayton. And if it's your first time here, we extend a special welcome to you. Thank you for spending your morning with us. There's some long time no see, and some more long time no see. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you all. If you are new or if you had a change in your contact information, please fill out that tear-off strip on the side of your bulletin so that we can send you a thanks for being here and stay in touch with you about upcoming events. We will put you on our Wednesday spiritual pick-me-up list, which I did not send this last week. My apologies. But most Wednesdays I do. You can unsubscribe from it at any time, but it's just a little midweek, remember who you are kind of message. You can fill that up, that strip on your bulletin, tear it off, and either turn it in at the Welcome Center or just drop it in the offering basket when it goes around a little later. This morning, did we do that part? Oh, good. This morning, giving our reading and invocation is Linda Andriaco, and our vigil holder is Judy Nossmacher. Linda and Lana Mayhew will offer our interfaith candle lighting, which we do to remind us of the wisdom that is in every spiritual tradition when we look for it and listen to it. And the kids this morning are with Teresa Nauke. There's Teresa right there. If we have any, or did they all stay home too? Well, you know what that means. That means our coloring project for today is going to have to be you guys. Oh, good. Let's stop and say a blessing for these two beautiful people as they move back into the youth activity and into the youth program today, because what I know about them is that they are the expressions and the manifestations of Spirit's own life, clear and bright and joyful, uninhibited, reminding us all that that is what God looks like in form. And so we bless all that they do today, knowing that it is good and that it allows all of them to simply remember and become more of who they came here to be. Thank you, God. And so it is. Have a great time. So this is part of the announcements, but it has to do with the youth program. The kids this morning are going to they've been exploring peace all month. Mark Fowler gave them 4 different kinds of meditation to work with inner peace. And Teresa's going to talk today about outer peace and peace in the world. And this past Friday, of course, was World Peace Day, where the motto of World Peace Day is "May peace prevail on earth." And so the kids are going to watch a little video and read a little book, but then they're coloring hummingbird. It says "May peace prevail on earth," and it's this beautiful hummingbird. And we have these in the social hall for all you grown-up kids, along with markers and crayons and colored pencils. So please, after the service, go to the social hall and color a hummingbird, and then write around the edges things you can think about you doing to help bring peace on earth. And then we're going to put them all up on a bulletin board in the social hall. So join me and let's get our kid on and do some coloring after the service. Also, in the announcements, let me see, I went to the middle instead of the end. Next Sunday is our amazing ministerial student, Russ Laguerre from Chicago. He'll be speaking. Then he's doing a workshop called Set Your Whole Self Free. And part of the interest that he has is in helping us deal with our shadow sides and the things that kind of hijack us and make us go into freeze, fight, or flight mode, which takes us out of conscious mind and into instinct and reaction. So he's going to give you some tools to help you deal with those moments. Step back into your conscious self, breathe, and then respond. He's going to be an amazing minister. He's already an amazing guy, so don't miss his workshop next week and his Sunday talk on Sunday. And then, is it 2 weeks after? No, it's just a week after that. There is a mandala workshop, which is it's a whole different thing, because this is a contemplative, quiet, creative spiritual practice with Kathy Roush, who is an amazing facilitator, and it's also just a lot of fun. If you're interested in that, we ask you to please just put your name on the bulletin board over there so that Kathy arrives with enough materials for everyone. I did it once with my sister, and I'm hooked. I'll be back on the 7th to make another mandala and get into that groove with a group of people. It's amazing. In your bulletin, there is a flyer that tells you about 2 Cooking with God events you can still get tickets for. Art, Jazz, and Beyond, which is Thursday, October 11th, and Nacho Mama's Meatloaf, which is Sunday, October 14th. So you can still get tickets for those. More information on that flyer. Let's fill those events up. There's a couple spots left in each. Also, on the other side of it, on October 6th, if you're able to, please join us. We painted the building several years ago, and this part over by the classrooms over here was in pretty good shape, so we left it, and you know what? It's not in very good shape anymore. So we need people with scrapers and brushes and drop cloths to spend a couple of hours scraping and painting, mostly the eaves and the overhang thingies, just to bring them up to snuff. You can text Chris or Teresa, and their numbers are on this flyer. If you can spend a few hours with us, it would be most heartily appreciated. So with that, our practitioners are here to pray with you after the service. Any of the people in the teal or white stoles are spiritual prayer practitioners, and they give you this gift from their hearts every Sunday of just spending a few moments with you after the service, praying about anything at all that you'd like to move into a different direction, or you just want more of, whatever it is. So just go up and ask one of them for prayer, and they will find a quiet corner with you and give you a little 1-minute miracle, we call it. And so now it's time for some more music. I think we're going to hear from Lieutenant Dan now with a wonderful song that we heard not long ago, but it was so good he's going to do it again. It's called Dive Right In.
We light the first candle in honor of Islam. At every moment, a person must feel Allah's existence and closeness and pray. For only someone who is cognizant of Allah's existence acknowledges the meaning and importance of prayer. Prayer is an intimate and personal bond between people and Allah. We light the second candle in honor of Judaism. Prayer, what the Talmud calls the labor of the heart, is answerable to the heart alone. We light the third candle in honor of Christianity. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer, with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. We light the fourth candle in honor of Sikhism. Prayer means an active yearning of the soul to feel one with God, who is always active and patient, who is always helpful. Prayer should, therefore, refresh our spirit and make us ready to do God's will. This can be done if we first commune ourselves with the God revealed in history and reverently watch the organic growth of divinity in humankind. We light the fifth candle in honor of Buddhism. When we feel disconnected and afraid, we long for the comfort and peace that comes from belonging to something larger and more powerful. While prayer may suggest a dualism of self and other, in my experience, when we fully inhabit our longing, it can carry us to the tender and compassionate presence that is our own awakened nature. We light the sixth candle in honor of Native American religions. May the stars carry your sadness away. May the flowers fill your heart with beauty. May hope forever wipe away your tears, and above all, may silence make you strong. We light the final candle in honor of African traditional spiritual traditions. In the beginning was God. Today is God. Tomorrow will be God. What can make an image of God? God has no body. God is the word which comes out of your mouth. That word, it is no more, it is past, and still it lives. So is God. Today's reading is by Ernest Holmes. When you give a spiritual mind treatment, you are not wishing that someone will be healed. You are making definite statements in the mind principle about some person or situation. You are not petitioning God to do this or that or something else. Instead of asking for something, we are accepting something. Instead of hoping that something will happen, we are endeavoring to know that it has happened or is happening. If you will take these words into the silence for a few moments, please. God is right here, right now, present in each and every person here and each and every person on this planet and all the stars and everywhere. God is present and showing the beauty and wonder of creation. We are all part of this wonderful creation. We are one with God in every sense of the word. And I am thankful for this. I know that it is so, and so it is.
So it is. My microphone's coming apart, so I have to be ginger. I have to handle it gingerly so it doesn't all fall apart, batteries fall out, like that. So today we're going to wrap up this lengthy exploration of affirmative prayer, which here we call spiritual mind treatment. And when something doesn't seem right in our bodies, we go get a treatment, right? We go get a massage if we're sore, or we get treatment from a doctor if we're ill. In a spiritual sense, when something doesn't seem to be right, we need treatment of a spiritual nature. And we use spiritual truth to treat our minds. We give ourselves a spiritual mind treatment. And this spiritual practice of prayer, this way of reframing, of seeing and believing and feeling newly, is something we've explored for a couple of months now, because it is our central spiritual practice. It is the one that we talk about the most. It is the one that we teach in all of our classes. It sort of combines, if you will, contemplation and meditation and visioning and prayer all in one form that also, in my mind, encapsulates our philosophy quite beautifully. So we have explored what spiritual mind treatment is and what it does and what it can do and how you do it, the form of it, the feeling behind it, and a whole lot more. And so we're going to recap for a minute and then wrap up with an idea of what it isn't. So to recap briefly, spiritual mind treatment is a stepwise spiritual practice that first involves recognizing the truth, the truth that all there is the divine one, that there's nothing outside of it, that spirit is all there is, and that its essential nature, which is goodness and peace and joy and harmony and love and abundance, is everywhere because God is everywhere, because spirit is everywhere. Recognition isn't like sort of when you see somebody that you recognize or know sort of slightly and go, oh, hi. That's not the kind of recognition we're talking about. Recognition is seeing and believing and feeling the allness and power of the Divine One. And then unifying ourselves with it, which, we usually sort of draw a little circle around ourselves and say, well, she might be part of the good and the divine, but not me. Often we have people over there who aren't either, but we won't talk about them right now. We unify ourselves with spirit. We realize that since spirit is all there is, we must needs be part of it, right? We must be, because there's nothing else we can be. We also take a moment to realize that even those people over in that other circle, if God is all there is, they must be too, right? We mostly unify ourselves, but ultimately we cannot exclude anything from that circle of God. And realizing is seeing and believing and feeling that therefore our thoughts and our words and our actions are the very thoughts and words and actions of the Divine One. That Spirit shows up in and through and as each one of us in its essence and as its essence. And its essence is good. Its essence is love. I screwed up the printer. It is the essence of light and of life itself and of abundance and of health and well-being and joy and peace and all those other things. And then because we see and feel and believe these things, these truths, we give thanks. There's no other thing to do, right? And then we let our human selves release it and let the Divine One do it. We let God, the power that is bigger than we are, take care of the how and the when and the color and all those sorts of things. We let our human fingers let go of whatever it is, and we just leave it all up to Spirit. And spiritual mind treatment, also to recap, is something we do to change our own consciousness, our own internal environment, to shift our own energy so that we're inviting and allowing the Divine One to work for us, through us. As us, we open ourselves up to something that is greater than our human brains can even conceive. We allow ourselves to know something that's beyond those kinds of structures and strictures that exist because of our human form. And ultimately, we open ourselves up to allowing the divine full and free expression as us. That's the tricky part. That's the tricky part. So we talked also about how to deal with the doubt that undoubtedly comes up whenever we're in this position of attempting to allow the divine full and free expression as us. Because there's always this or yeah, but what about this and what about that and what if that happens? All that stuff comes up. And so we learn to deny that it has power. We learn to put it in its place, if you will, as simply the ego and the strictures of the human mind trying to exert themselves. We simply we simply know that something bigger is really what's going on here. And we also talked about the feeling place, the emotional state that we want to arrive at in spiritual mind treatment, which is that place of calmness and serenity, of knowing that assures us that no matter what the circumstances look like, all is well. All is really and truly well. Because all is truly and really in the hands of the power that is greater than we are, even though it's all that we are. It's infinitely greater than that too. And we also talked about allowing our minds to accept the divine ideas that are the currency of the universe, right? When we say a prayer and we let it go, then what happens to us is we will start to get ideas on how to move forward next and what to do about the situation. And if we allow those things, instead of butting them to death, pretty soon we will come up with an answer. We'll come up with a place we need to stand about the whole situation. So we've spent a lot of time on spiritual mind treatment, on affirmative prayer, for a number of reasons. The first one is because it's very powerful. I'm going to tell you in a minute how I have discovered how powerful it really is. But it is a quick, in your pocket kind of thing that no matter where you are, you can pull out and pray, do a spiritual mind treatment, and move yourself from staring at the circumstances and going, oh my God, to a place of calm and serenity and sweetness and oh my God. You know? It is that thing that will pick you up and take you from where you are to where you want to be. And it's the way we reconnect and remind ourselves that at the midst of ourselves is the divine, and that we are right in the midst of the divine, and that there things really are truly well. We spend so much time on it because it changes everything. It changes everything. When we find ourselves, when we reaffirm the kingdom and queendom of heaven that is already within us, when we live from heaven, whatever's around us and our experience of it change dramatically, right? We spend so much time on it because it works. The mystics tell us the same thing over and over and over, and spiritual mind treatment is the place where that mystical tradition meets our innate practical nature. We are so very practical, we humans, and especially us here in the West, and maybe especially here in the Midwest. You know, we're very practical. And this is where our practical and our mystical come together to remind us of what we're really doing here, and of what we're really here to be, and that is spirit experiencing itself, knowing itself, discovering new ways to be itself, and delighting in all of it. So, here comes the true confessions part. Prayer has not been my primary spiritual practice until very recently. I've been meditating for years and years and years. Even when I don't do it every day, meditation's been a part of my life for, 45 years now. But our prayer used to kind of like, I would forget it sometimes. I would start a meeting without praying it in. I'd start a class without praying. People would have to remind me. The practitioners in the practitioner meeting would have to remind me. Can we pray first? It's like, oh, yeah, let's pray. It was the thing I came to last when things were all screwed up instead of first. But recently, I'm working now with our Holmes Institute, which is our accredited master's degree program. And that means I work with like all these committees of people, probably too many. So I have like 6 or 7 conference calls or Zoom calls every week, and every one of them starts and ends with prayer. And sometimes in the middle, if things are getting rocky, we stop to pray. And most of the time it's me praying, because when they say, who would like to give us a spiritual mind treatment today? For some reason I'm going, me, I would. So I do a lot of, I'm praying 3 or 4 times a day, every day now. And I don't know what took me so long to make it a habit. I honestly don't. Because it works. It works. A prayer habit changes our consciousness. A prayer habit moves us into a different place. One where everything flows more smoothly. When I run into a hitch in anything, whether it's my physical life, my mental life, my emotional life, my financial life, dealing with a group of people who are all having bad days, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Spiritual mind treatment moves us, me especially, into a different place in a second, a minute, such a little amount of time. The bang for the buck is huge. It's huge. Sometimes the answer to the hitch will take an hour or sometimes even a day, but the hitch is resolved when I stop to pray. So today I want to remind you of that and invite you to make this a habit. It can be done in a couple of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, wherever you need it. Stop, recognize, unify, realize, say thank you and let go, and see if you don't feel different. If you don't, maybe you should go do it again, because the whole point of a spiritual mind treatment is to move you from where you are into a consciousness of spirit. That place where everything is okay. So today I want to wind up with a little bit of comment on what spiritual mind treatment is not. As our reading today says, it is not well-wishing. When we pray for others, we are not wishing them well. When we pray for ourselves, we're not wishing ourselves well. Prayer is a realignment of consciousness, not a wish. You know, wishing is like when you buy a scratch-off lottery ticket. You really wish you win. Or you blow out your birthday candles and you kind of have something in your mind that, oh, it's a little wistful thought about something that would be nice if it happened. Wishes don't inspire us. They're kind of like daydreams, or what my mother used to like to call pipe dreams. I don't know what she was smoking, but it doesn't Consider this difference. When you flip the light switch, you know the lights are going to come on, right? When you buy a toaster and you take it home and you plug it in and you pop some bread in it and you push the lever, you know the toaster is going to brown your bread into toast, right? We rely on those kinds of things. If the toaster doesn't work, you take it back and get one that does. If you and I are so sure that a toaster will work when we push the lever, or the lights will come on when we flip the switch, how can we not be that sure that Spirit works for us too?
Amen.
You know? If we've come to that place of seeing and feeling and believing that we're one with the divine and that the divine is all we are, why do we worry and dither and wonder whether the divine is working through us? We rely on toasters and light switches and alarm clocks and all sorts of other things in our lives. And the habit of prayer is how we come to rely on Spirit. It's how we come to rely on Spirit, because it takes us again and again to that place of feeling that all is well, of knowing that all is well, that place that is at our center, the place within us that knows that the universe is a place of power and growth and evolution, and that we are people of power and growth and evolution, and that we are ever inching closer to what we came here to be and doing what we came here to do, and to remember all the time that we're embodiments of the Divine One itself. It's like the radio on your car, in your car, if you still have one. I guess most of us still have a radio, right? A tape player or a CD player? No. But so you get in your car and you turn it on and noise comes out. For me, that would be on the far right end of the band, the really country and western. Just not a fan. You might be, and if so, you know, maybe what I like would be the same for you. So that comes on and it does not make me feel like I want to feel. So I know what to do, right? I take the dial or the scan button and I find the music that makes me go, ah, yeah. Some days that's Led Zeppelin and other days it's Beethoven. I am a heavy metal girl. It's true.
Understood.
It depends on the day. But I find the music that makes me go, oh yeah, this is good, life is good, life is good, life is good. We know how to do that, right? We know how to tune the dial to find what we seek. We can be overwhelmed by what's happening out there, but prayer puts our fingers back on that dial so we can tune it back into what's happening in here and find the peace again. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, when you pray, you're not wishing that someone or something will be healed. You're not hoping that someone or something will be healed. You are not asking that something or someone will be healed. You are making definite statements about the person or situation. You are entertaining a state of realization in your own consciousness for someone or something. And these definite statements help us return to the truth of the situation. Because when we return to the truth of the situation, our experience of it changes. And the person we're praying for's experience of it changes. When we know that we're in Spirit, and Spirit is in us, and Spirit is in all, we stand in the truth. The truth reminds us that it doesn't matter what things look like. The divine is here too. The sun is still shining even though there's clouds in the way. And spiritual mind treatment helps us get through the clouds to the sunlight in our own minds. It lets us remember that the good we seek is here already, because God is here already. It lets us remember that the good is already given. We don't have to earn it. We don't have to do penance to get it. We don't have to atone for anything. We are already given everything. Because the good is here now, every moment. One more Ernest Holmes quote I want to share with you because I think it's so important. He says, when we're praying, it's not as though a large amount of good were being hurled at a large amount of evil. It is not storming the gates of heaven with an affirmative petition. It is more like the calm contemplation of the mind which says, there is a light, and therefore, because there is, darkness disappears. This is what Jesus meant when he said that in effect, that there is a truth which known will prove itself. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. See, prayer returns us to our natural dwelling place. The kingdom of heaven, queendom of heaven, the dwelling place of the divine. Spiritual mind treatment is knowing and sensing and feeling and believing that that heaven is here within us right now. And when we do that, the other stuff takes care of itself, right? When I can remember that, then I come back to the circumstance different. I'm plugged in, I'm clued in, I'm allowing love to flow from me into the situation. I'm bringing peace where there has been no peace. I'm shining light where there has been no light. Everything's different. So I want to close with Psalm 84. I don't often quote, well, sometimes I quote from the Bible, but this psalm particularly grabs me when I read it. In part, it goes like this. God, how lovely is your dwelling place. Even the sparrow has found a home, and the swallow a nest for herself where she may have her young, a place near your altar. Blessed are those who dwell in your house. They are ever praising you. Blessed are those whose strength is in you. As they pass through the valley of mourning, they make it a place of springs. Isn't that lovely? As they pass through the valley of mourning, they make it a place of springs. That's what prayer does. It returns us to our dwelling place, the dwelling place of the divine, where we have a home, a place near the altar. And when we live from there, we make the mourning places, places of joy. We make the desert places, places of springs. We make the dark places, places of light. That's what we're here to do, and that's who we're here to be. So right now, let's pray together. Let's go through these steps together and just realign ourselves with truth. Return to our homes, that dwelling place near the altar of the Most High. As I take a breath, I stop to realize that I don't have to do that breathing. That breathing is simply part of the nature of my being. My body breathes. My breath enters me, rejuvenating me, revitalizing me. My heart beats, delivering that oxygen that my breath brings into all the parts of my being. Picking up carbon dioxide and delivering that into the world, which receives it and uses it to once again create food and oxygen. The cycle goes on and on and on forever. What an amazing and simple thing the divine has created in that circuit. I breathe in, I am nurtured and nourished, I breathe out. Something out there is nurtured and nourished, which in turn nurtures and nourishes me. This whole world is miraculously wrought. My whole being is miraculously wrought. What an expression of something amazing and powerful and good and great. That life force that I call spirit, the divine one, that is everywhere present, that fills every moment, that enlivens everything that exists. Some more lively than others, but yet spirit exists even in a grain of sand, and even in an elephant and a tree, and in me, and in those clouds of gas that are producing new stars, and even at the very edges of the universe where the Divine One is creating new space and new time so that it may continue to expand and grow and be even more awesome. This whole system is woven together because it is one. It is the one we call God. It is expressed everywhere and in every moment, in its essence, in its fullness. All the love that there could ever be, all the life, the wisdom, the joy, the harmony, the happiness, the abundance, the well-being, the peace. It is all everywhere present, for God is everywhere present. And that means we're right where I am, right where we are, right where each one of us is this same divine life, this same love and peace and joy and harmony and abundance and well-being and goodness. We simply acknowledge that because we are in this web of the Divine One. There's nothing else we could be. We are the place its life shows up right here and right now. We are the self-conscious place that life shows up, so that we can know that we are the minds and the hearts and the bodies of Spirit itself. What an amazing realization. And so what springs from it is a great yes, a great allowing, a great willingness to allow ourselves to be the place the divine shows up, a great willingness to allow the divine to be all that we are, a great willingness to say, always, Spirit is present right where I am. I reside, I dwell, I have my home in the queendom or kingdom of heaven, here, now, and always. And then to allow that deep peace to permeate every bit of us. So that we are in awareness always that in the kingdom of heaven, in the queendom of heaven, all is truly well. Regardless of what it may look like in the facts and circumstances, all is truly well. We open ourselves to that. We open ourselves to the divine ideas that stream into us to show us where next to put our feet, to where next to put our effort, to where next to open our hearts. And as we do so, life gets even more beautiful. I know this to be the truth of our lives, of our being, of our place here. So I simply say thank you. I simply say thank you for this time together, for this deep knowing and seeing and believing and perceiving the divine all around us. And I simply release it all. I let it go. I know that Spirit has it and that it is done. And we say together, and so it is.
Just a thread, a simple thread in this glorious web of life.
We are all just drops within a stream, flowing towards an ocean of light.
We made for I grow, I will reveal the love that illuminates my soul. When I remember where I come from, when I remember where I'm going to, then I will see that you're a reflection of me, as much as I'm a reflection of you. This is my simple prayer. May I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer. May I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer. May I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer. May I become a reflection of the infinite one.
Amen. Are our ushers coming forward, please? We now have an opportunity to support all the work that we do here at Center for Spiritual Living to help us help you by providing these spiritual tools that remind you how magnificent you truly are. So join with me in this moment of gratitude and generosity, and take your gift in your heart or your hands and affirm with me. I know the activity of abundance.
I know the activity of abundance
In my life and in this center.
in my life and in this center.
I give and receive generously
I give and receive generously
from this everlasting flow of good.
from this everlasting flow of good.
And so it is.
And so it is.
All right. Thank you for everyone being here this morning, making this whole thing happen. Thanks to our ushers and greeters and our practitioners and our welcome team and the guys in the band and the gal in the band. Thank you for being here. Next week we have 6 people, 6 musicians. Kyle's going to be here, the whole band. Every
back from Ireland.
Jim will be back from Ireland, and Kenny will be back from William and Mary. Where's that? Virginia. So we will have a full band and a full house tomorrow for my friend Russ. He's amazing. And thanks to all of you for being here as well. So let's stand and do our closing affirmation, our closing song, which is We Are One. And then there's cookies and colored pencils and crayons in the social hall. I'll see you there. So affirm with me. Today I pray.
Today I pray.
I pray and I take myself home.
I pray and I take myself home.
There I know all is well.
There I know all is well.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Have a wonderful, blessed, fabulous week.
You too.